All right. Well, we want to honor your time. We have Juanita and EM. Again, my name's Peter. I'm here with Emily, and we'll be taking you through this strategy. So let's go ahead here. So we don't need to do this in chat since there's just a couple of you. So let's see, Juanita, why don't you share what school you're at, what grade level or content you're teaching, and then that last little prompt is think about a time when you felt truly heard by someone. What did that person do to make you feel listened to?
I am currently at Green Valley Elementary. I am an ECE teacher here, ELA S. And I think for me, I don't know, I guess just as long as they're giving me eye contact, nodding or responding to what I'm saying is when I feel like they're really listening to me and to what I actually have to say. Or sometimes when they repeat back to me what I have said, or later on when we're having a conversation about something else and then they repeat what I told them, that I feel like they hear me as well.
Thank you. Thanks. EM?
Hi, sorry, my camera does not work on this computer, but
no worries.
Yeah, my name's Em. I'm teaching at DCIS Baker. I teach grades 6 through 12 in STEAM. And I think, yeah, similar. I feel like if people are repeating back to me what I just said or repeating what they understood and asking clarifying questions, that shows me they're trying to understand me and hear me and like validate what I'm feeling, and sort of like work together to understand each other. But I feel like for me, it's a lot more about like the verbal responses or like understanding checks than sort of like nonverbal communication.
Nice, thanks. And I'm sure, I mean, there's obviously huge differences between what ECE kiddos need to learn around that, but maybe not so different for 6 through 12. I don't know, we'll see. I mean, our idea when we came up with this segment is in communication, we talk about a lot about what students are producing, obviously, you know, oral language, written language, but it's sometimes a huge black box of like, are they listening? Do they know how to listen? How do I know if a student is actually listening? They can be looking right at you for 40 minutes and not there at all, right? So, or, you know, I've got a son who ADHD, teachers were on him all the time because he did not look engaged in class. He was fiddling with something, doing something, but then they'd ask him a question, boom, he was right there. So he had heard it all and was processing and tracking, but behavior-wise, you would not know that looking at him. So anyway, we're going to be talking about some ways we can leverage technology, hopefully to either have students practice their listening skills or do that in some different ways. Juanita, I'm not clear now kind of how ECE engages with technology. I know previously it was quite limited, you know, obviously developmentally so, but I'm glad you're here. So maybe you'll pick up a few ideas and pointers to use with your kiddos. So, all right. Our agenda today, and again, we've got a really small group here. We'd love to get your input, feedback as we're going. You can see on the left some of the tools that we've kind of highlighted that we'll show you that are possible to use in the district. They're available district-wide that can really help students practice listening in a kind of risk-free environment too. And the goal, again, is to explore what does it mean to really develop students' active listening skills? And again, how can we leverage some of these technology platforms for students to practice that or for them to give feedback on their listening that you can then, you know, hear. It's sometimes hard to do that in a whole group setting. So these technology tools allow every student to have a voice and be able to show you how they're listening, how they're processing that you can then kind of evaluate in your own time. We're also going to give you a little work time at the end, just so you can kind of go in and tinker with some of these tools and kind of get a sense for them. Ask questions of us if you're not sure exactly about how something works. Is this you or is this still me?
This is still
This
you.
is still me. All right. Again, we talked about the mindsets in the big group. We kind of honed in on my responsibility and high expectations in terms of listening, kind of what you're expecting of students to be able to do. And again, how it's your responsibility as a teacher to kind of really help students develop this communication domain of listening.
All right, so when we think of one of the most important things that we can do as humans, that is communication. We need to be able to communicate so that we can survive and understand what's going on in the world around us. So as educators, communication is one of the #1 things that we can teach our students. And as Peter mentioned earlier, listening is often not really thought of when we think about terms of communication. So in this session, we really want to dive into how do we help develop those listening skills with our students. These norms of collaboration are used pretty widely across DPS and kind of those expectations we have for our students. When we're thinking of listening, we're really going to think about how pausing and then really paying attention to ourselves and others. I liked how Juanita said, like if they're nodding and, paraphrasing, they're really they're listening. So listening can really be tied into all of these norms, but those two specifically really help kind of guide when we're setting those expectations with students. So before we even put students on technology, there are some routines that we need to practice with them. So the very first thing is to model what it looks like off screen. A lot of times through Think Aloud, really showing your students what that communication, that listening piece is going to look like. And then we're going to establish norms and expectations with them. So those top two norms of collaboration and whole body listening, those two are kind of geared toward our elementary teachers, but those are examples of how you could establish those expectations, where the lower two are more geared towards secondary. Those are linked pictures, by the way, if you'd like access to the resources. You could also co-create those norms with your students if that fits more along your school and your teaching style. When we're thinking specifically of littles, though, we want to make sure that we make the explicit distinction that they understand when we are following these expectations on the carpet, for example. We still want to follow those same expectations when we switch to a device. So the expectations don't change. And then here are just some benefits of integrating technology to practice these listening skills. Digital tools really lower the risk for students. I know in our main room with everyone, someone mentioned that communication can be really troublesome for students with high anxiety, but if they are able to practice on a device, it really lowers that risk for them. Our MLLs and students with IEPs will have the ability to hear and practice these skills with multiple exposures as needed. As teachers, we can give individual feedback, and then it also provides multiple modalities for practicing these skills, which we'll get into with these tech tools coming up.
Also, just thinking about MLLs, students have to do the access testing every year. And if you have conscious, intentional ways for them to practice listening, that will really help them on that portion of the access testing where they have to listen to a passage and then answer questions about it. If you can give them opportunities using these tools to practice some of those skills as well.
All right, so let's dive into our first tool, which is Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is a digital tool that allows you to create really interactive and engaging video lessons for students. So right now you can sign up for, if you haven't ever accessed Edpuzzle, you can sign up for free using your DPS credentials. In the notes of this slide, you'll see if your school has purchased the pro account. Otherwise, if you're just using the free, that's totally fine. You have access to everything. You just have limited storage of 20 videos, but that is just fine. You'll have this plenty of space for classroom use. So the next couple of slides are just more for your reference. If you've never created an account, you could follow these slides to help create your account.
Just keep
Yeah.
going. Okay.
All right, so then how we actually use Edpuzzle in the classroom. So there's a couple different options. One thing you could do is you could search for thousands of already created Edpuzzles by using that Discover feature. You could also look within DPS if you use the My Network on that left side right there. And let's say you want to practice active listening, just type that in your search bar and you can look through hundreds of videos that have already been created. Or if you prefer, you can upload and create your own video, maybe geared more specifically to the needs of your classroom. Once you have decided which video you're going to use, you can assign that individually, or you can assign an entire playlist to your students. I'd like to mention that this can be embedded directly into Schoology, for example, if you wanted to use it alongside your LMS. More geared toward probably our older students, you could assign student projects, which really encourages them to take the lead in designing their own Edpuzzle. So on this slide, I just have a sample of something you could do, but they could upload their own video or search for a video of people having a conversation, for example, and they could create an Edpuzzle and ask questions or make notes about their norms that you guys have established. So these next slides are also more of a reference, just if you decide to play with student project mode in Edpuzzle. This is what it looks like from your student side. So they'll have an option to start their project. They could find a YouTube or they could upload their own. You'll notice that YouTube opens directly within Edpuzzle. See, there's no switching between tabs. They can search directly there. Once they've done that, just like you would as a teacher, you can go in just like you could as a teacher, they can go in and they can add in questions. Just as a bonus tip too, if you want to have encourage them to enable those audio responses, you can also do that as a teacher. So instead of typing responses, students can respond orally. And then they can preview the puzzle and then just turn it in. It's as simple as that.
I have a question.
Sure.
For the videos, when you search videos, can we also find like in other languages like Spanish?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So when you're searching, I would just tailor your what you're searching for to make sure you can say that you're looking for it in Spanish. And you're basically searching I'm assuming Peter is school appropriate, but you're searching the what's on YouTube essentially. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so you should definitely know that. And for your littles, I would recommend too, you can, when you're creating questions or notes, you can actually record your voice so they don't have to read it. They can just listen and they can also orally respond. So that takes kind of the reading and typing skill out of it for your littles.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So once your students have created their student project, from the teacher end, you can review it. And if it's a really good Edpuzzle and you're like, hey, I want to use this in class in the future, you can actually save it to My Content and then assign it like any other Edpuzzle. And let's say you want every students to go review each other's Edpuzzles, you can actually create a playlist of all the videos and then share that playlist with your class so they can work through each other's Edpuzzles.
I'm thinking too, like for the ECE class, you can even do this whole group. You could create an Edpuzzle of a video. And what you do is you insert questions at certain points in the video. The video will pause, a question will pop up on the side that students have to respond to. But that could be a discussion you have with the whole class. It's like, what do you guys think about what you just saw? Or what do you think is going to happen next in the story? But you don't have to go hit the pause button. You set it up that the video pauses, a question comes up, and then once that's responded to, the video continues. And a nice thing too for older students, that gives you some accountability of, did students watch the video? How are they answering these questions? You get all that feedback in a dashboard. So you can see, 80% of the students just totally bombed question number 3. Why are they not getting that point? And you can, refer to that and that can inform your instruction moving on. Should we keep going?
Yep, let's
All right.
go ahead.
Oh, all right. What should we just ask if there's any other
Oh,
questions
yes.
about?
Any other questions regarding Edpuzzle?
Welcome, Brent and Taylor. I'm glad you found us. Sorry if it was a little confusing to get to the right room this morning. We're talking about listening skills and some different tech tools to help students practice those and engage them in that. All right, and then again, we're going to give you all some time towards the end of the session to kind of dig into some of these tools, kind of tinker with them, see if you have any follow-up questions, or see, you know, what you think might be useful for you to implement going forward. All right, so the next tool is called Book Creator. We do have a district-wide premium subscription to Book Creator this year, paid for by our DPS Library Services Department. So that's a huge boon to staff and students this year. Book Creator is a really super friendly, intuitive, kind of online. I mean, it says Book Creator, but I really think of it kind of as a collaborative online, you know, creative platform. Taylor, did you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Peter. Sorry, I just got on here because I was having trouble with Learning Space and then realized it was on Schoology, blah, blah, blah. But for tool number 1, I think it was
Edpuzzle.
Edpuzzle. Do
Yep.
we also have a subscription to that?
You can do a lot in that for free, and I believe schools have the opportunity to purchase the higher tier usage of that. So check with your school administrators to see if they've purchased it for your school. What school are you at, Taylor?
I'm at Inspire Elementary.
Okay.
It doesn't look like that's been purchased by your school yet. So if you are interested, I just talked to your building administration. I will say you will be able to do a lot with the free account. The biggest difference is your storage space. So with the free account, you can only store 20 videos. But you can, I mean, that's plenty for your classroom use.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry about that.
No, great
that's
question. But like once if you hit that 20 limit, and you know the unit you did last month is over, you can kind of offload or archive those 5 videos, then you've got room for 5 more. So it's like you can keep recycling that storage to keep it fresh. So
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
yeah, and again, your digital coach, who we talked about at the beginning of the entire session, they'll be able to work with you on this, give you more support in using this moving forward.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, so back to Book Creator. Again, it's a really flexible format. I'll give you a quick demo. And again, we've got access to the premium version. This slide kind of shows you all the features of the premium version. You can create unlimited, libraries or collection of products. They're called books, but I'll show you. It's more like a multimedia project. Up to 1,000 total books. Students can collaborate on projects, which is pretty cool. You can have as many students as you want working together to create a product, which is really cool collaboration wise. It's got fantastic text translation tools. You can translate any text into any other language. It's a ton of different languages. I'm not sure how many. A lot of templates to start with. You don't have to start with a blank canvas if you don't want to. You can add co-teachers, which is really nice. So if you've got a para or somebody, they can be kind of helping administer this curate this collection of products. Anyway, lots of really good in-app chat support. So you don't have to wait for your digital coach. If you're hitting an issue with the kiddos, you can actually chat right in the platform and get support from the Book Creator folks themselves. So let me just show you Book Creator real quick. I'm gonna switch to a different tab here. So just so you can kind of see it. Can you guys see Book Creator now on your screens? Yes? Okay. I'm hoping you can. So this is what Book Creator looks like. It's just bookcreator.com, super simple. It's kind of got, I don't know. a younger look, I think, but I know definitely, I've seen high school science classrooms use this for kids to demonstrate what they've learned about different science concepts. So even if it's got a kind of a fun kid-like view, don't limit your brain to thinking about, oh, this is just for K-5. Again, it can be used even up into, higher ed. I will log in here using the login button. It took me straight in, but if you get to a point where it says, how do you want to log in? Just sign in with your Google account, and students will do that too. So it's linked to our Google stuff. So this is what my shelf looks like. It's almost like a bookshelf. If I actually go back out of it, this is kind of a landing page. So I've got what's called libraries. I can discover existing content within Book Creator that other teachers have already built that I can then even, read or use and then edit and remix to my own heart's content, which is really nice. They've got a fantastic learning section where you can learn, teach yourself about the different features in Book Creator. But again, this is what some different libraries would look like. They used to be called shelves. And then you can create as many as you want. It's unlimited. And then here's where students, if you share one of these with students, this is how they can join it and get access to it. Down here, there's something called central libraries. I'll have to find out more about this. I'm not sure if this is a way that centrally we can push out some content to everybody in the district. I don't know. But I'm just going to go into one of my shelves. And again, if I wanted students to access some of this content that I've built in here, there's invite codes. So I can just give kiddos a link that has this code, then they have access to this kind of library of books that I've made. That's a really simple way to get kiddos in there. Here's a book that I made called Listening Practice. I just started with a blank canvas, and it's kind of a slide kind of page format. And I'll show you some different templates. It doesn't have to be slide looking. It has different comic book templates you can use. But here was just an exercise I thought of. So here's some of the different content you could add to a page. So I chose a pretty page background. I just took a photo of an Accountable Talk poster in a classroom and added that onto the page. You can insert images super easily. This is a text box up here. I just said, listen carefully to the video below, and then record yourself using Accountable Talk. So again, a student needs to listen to this video, think about what this student is saying. I'll just play this super quick.
Hi, my name is Jasmine and I'm from Stone Middle School. Today's book talk is Cinder. It's a classical twist on the traditional story of Cinderella.
Anyway, she's just doing a quick little book talk about that book. And then down here, it says, put your recording button inside this box. I've got a few buttons here, but what kiddos would do, they'd go up to this little plus sign, and here's where you add content. Again, it's not overwhelming like Canva. I love Canva, but for me, it's almost too much. This is much simpler. Kiddo would hit record, and they would need to allow their microphone. And then up here, it just says start recording. And it gives them a little countdown, and then we are recording live. Here we go. They need to hit stop recording. They can listen to it right here to make sure it sounds okay. If they messed up or sneezed, they can hit delete and try it again. And if they like it, they say use recording, and it puts this little kind of audio bubble right on the screen. They can move it wherever they want. And then if somebody else or the teacher is reading their book or looking at this content, and then we are recording, it plays that audio right there. I already had a few in here. A new cool feature of this is that you can translate the audio. So kiddos could talk in their native language and then translate to English, I believe. I did one where I recorded in English and then I had it translate into Spanish. Here's my...
Creo que sería un libro muy divertido de leer. Me gustan los aspectos intrigantes.
Anyway, so it basically grabbed a transcript of what I was saying in English and then translated it into Spanish and then used a different voice to read it in Spanish. But it has some cool features like that. So that's one option to, again, have students listen. And then again, active listening, they can practice asking questions. So this would be using the video tool. So again, if you hit record, oh, hold on, I didn't do it right. Here we go, camera. So I want to do camera, and I'm going to allow that. And you can take a single picture, or you can record a video. So a kiddo could do this. Again, it counts down, and then they're going to be talking about what they just heard and discuss what their listening skills picked up. Then they can stop the video. Again, they can watch it, make sure it's okay, delete it, or if they hit use video, come on, be good. Oh, of course, it's not playing nice for me. All right, be that way. Page unresponsive. It's only because I've got 3 Google Meets open at the same time. So anyway, but that's how they could also do a video response in Book Creator. It's really stuck. Okay, well, let me go back to our slide deck. Sorry about that, guys. That just kind of died on me there. So that is just a really quick look at Book Creator. Again, it's super simple. ECE first graders, kindergartners have used this platform super successfully. It's really easy to add information. And again, you could have more than one student working on a book at a time. Here, just some quick little things to kind of talk about what those tools I was just talking about. There are some settings to be aware of that you can set as a teacher. If you want students to collaborate or not, you get to turn that on for a library or not. So if you just want students like looking at content that you've put in there, maybe they don't need to collaborate. But if you do want to have that collaboration, you can turn that on and off. If you want students to be able to read each other's books, maybe you got to the point where students are talking about, here's my book on active listening or listening skills, and you want other students to read that student's book and listen to what they've put, you can allow that, or you can turn that off. If it's too early and that's a little bit too risky for students to do, you can turn that off. So there's definitely some settings that allow you to control what happens in the kind of library space. And let's see, I think that's all I have on Book Creator. Again, we're going to allow you some time to explore. We have some more resources at the end so you can kind of learn more about these tools. But again, it's a really simple kind of open-ended tool with lots of different multimedia capabilities that allows students to practice those, not just listening, but other communication skills as well. Any quick questions about Book Creator? All right, we'll go on to our third tool, which is Seesaw. Up until last year, we had Seesaw district-wide for K-5. Due to budgeting constraints, we've had to scale that back. We can't offer it to all schools district anymore, but some schools are still paying for it, maybe just K2 or 3-5 at certain levels. So again, check with your school, see if they're paying for any Seesaw use. But if they're not paying, the great thing about Seesaw is that the free version still offers almost all of the same capabilities as the paid version. So that's why we offered it here, because it really is a really powerful tool, again, for students to practice listening and speaking skills with the ability to record themselves, record their audio, record their video, similar to Book Creator with some multimedia stuff. So let's go into some of that. So again, you can make an entirely free account. If you want to go to app.seesaw.me, like it shows on this slide, choose I'm a teacher and teacher sign in with Google. You can still sign in with Google even if you haven't paid for it, even if you're just doing the free access. And in Seesaw, it has actually a ton of pre-made lessons that you can just pull up. If you search for listening practice or listen, you can find already pre-made lessons in Seesaw that you could deliver to your students that help them practice listening. So again, you don't feel like you have to build everything from scratch. A lot of these platforms have a lot of existing content that you can leverage. I think these are linked.
There.
Yeah, so you can actually click on these two pictures on this slide and actually link to the lesson to kind of take a look at it. Seesaw is kind of geared more towards ECE through 5th grade, but it definitely has capabilities just like Book Creator that you could leverage it with older students as well. Let's see. So students kind of have their own kind of journal of learning that they can post to and kind of show like almost a portfolio of work. You can allow other students to comment on other students' work if you want to. That could be a way, again, to listen to what a student recorded, then the student comments on it and talks about what they heard. These kind of in the middle show the different tools available. There's photos, drawing, video, a few other ways that you can add content to like a Seesaw post or board. And then there's always a little green check mark up in the corner. You need to kind of teach students this practice to always submit what they've done. You have to kind of create it all and then submit, and then it gets finalized. And then again, other students can view videos in their journal and then comment. They can comment with type, and I think there's also audio comments. Yes, or click the microphone for a voice comment. So just like in Edpuzzle and also in Book Creator, they can just do audio comments. If there's still littles and typing's a challenge, a lot of it can be done with audio. The Seesaw blog is let's see, what does it say? It's been a while since I've used this, folks. And actually, Brittany was supposed to be doing this part. Anyway, there's a class blog. So it's like, again, a secure space. This is not going on the internet. No one's going to be able to search and find this stuff. But you can kind of create your own little class space for sharing ideas and kind of like a blog-like space. The 5th setting there is toggle on password protect class blog. So that really locks it down.
And just to add on really quick, Peter, this is on the blog is a space where you could also involve student families. So they are able to interact with the class as well. So just wanted to add that.
Perfect. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. So parents can be seeing student content, seeing what they're learning, what they're engaging in this space. And then so that was kind of Seesaw. I just wanted to add in an upper slide for Schoology. Schoology also has these kind of multimedia features. So you could use a lot of the same strategies we've talked about, and students can be commenting or doing assignments using the little microphone tool in their submissions, which gets you to audio and video response types. So some teachers aren't aware that Schoology allows students to respond with either audio and video responses, but you can definitely do that within Schoology. It can be a comment, it can be an assignment, part of an assignment response, that sort of thing. So there's two little links to tutorials here, both from a teacher view and a student view. You can also create your own videos. When you're making a Schoology course or a post, you can record yourself saying, hey guys, this is unit 2, we're studying biology, we're looking at mitosis and meiosis this week. So you can create a video to kind of kick off the learning or whatever, just to engage your students. Because I know for me, kind of switching up the media types, if it's just a wall of text, it's like, oh gosh, that's a lot to read. But if there's a video at the front, the kids might watch that instead. So leverage that definitely in your Schoology courses. All right, we've thrown a lot at you, a lot of us talking, apologies for that, but this is your chance to explore. If you want to mute us and just go ahead and kind of look at one of these tools and kind of think about, that one was interesting, how might I use that this year? Feel free to do that. We've got about, how are we doing here?
Actually did really well. We've got about 11 minutes.
Okay, 11 minutes to explore. If you want to stay in this room and ask us questions about certain tools, we're certainly happy to do that. Again, you can turn the volume down on your computer so you're not hearing us chatter while you're working. But come back If you're going somewhere else, just come back in about 10 minutes. We'll set a timer to bring folks back. We'll have a quick share out of what you explored, ideas you have, and then all together we'll go back to the main meet to kind of wrap up this whole session. So you've got about 10 minutes to explore. I'll set this little timer here. And if you want to hang out and ask us any questions about what we've talked about so far, feel free to do that. All right. Well, I hope everyone had a little time to explore. Whoops, let's just get to the next slide. If you could, again, with this many people, you could just come off chat or come off mute or put in chat which tool or tools you explored and any ideas about how you see using this with your students in your classroom to help with listening skills. Any thoughts out there?
So I explored Edpuzzle. And for that one, I think with the ECE kids, I like how you guys talked about like recording the video and then my voice over it. Because a lot of the time for certain activities or lessons, I do use a lot of videos, especially because they're so little and they're more visual. But a lot of the videos, they don't have, like they're in English. So I have to keep stopping the video and then I have to translate it. So this time, instead of having to do that where I pause it and then they kind of lose focus, I can just play it, but my voice is over it, explaining what they're doing. So I really enjoyed that part. And I think I'm gonna do that.
Oh, that's
Yep,
awesome.
yep. I don't know if did we talk about that feature? Yeah, you can have the video, then you can put your own translation over the entire thing or over certain segments. That's a great idea, Juanita. Yep. Nice. And go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
Oh.
please. Yep.
I was gonna say I also used Edpuzzle and was kind of looking at ways that I could have students doing a project outside of Edpuzzle and then uploading videos to like explain their work. And that way students can speak in their own languages. Because at our school, like I'm not an ELAS, but I like do have a lot of Spanish speaking only students or students who have different languages as their first language. So it'd be really great for them to be able to do that. And I feel like also I didn't get a chance to look at the second one you showed us, the book one. But I also feel like that could be a good resource specifically for my middle schoolers because I think Edpuzzle will be great for my high schoolers.
Nice. Yep. Perfect. Taylor, any discoveries or ideas? Or maybe she's still working. I don't know.
That's okay. We're going to go ahead and take you guys, we're going to go back to the main meet. Do we want to maybe drop that?
Yeah, I'll put that in chat. Again, we have a slide here just with some more kind of resources you can explore at any point that you want to. And we're going back to the main room. Let me put that link in the chat if you don't have it open anymore. And we will see you all back there. Let me get that here. All right, so this is the link to the main Google Meet where we all started. All right, so hit that link in the chat and we'll see you back there. Thank you so much for your participation, everyone.